Tonight on Capitol Hill, a confirmation hearing took an unexpected turn, shifting from political theater into a rare, unscripted moment that revealed how deeply personal national defense decisions really are.
The record.
Is there objection? Without objection, it will be entered. Also, I present a host of letters and op-eds from former co-workers at Vets for Freedom and Concerned Vets for America, as well as Fox News Channel. I also have letters and op-eds from many veterans and Iraqis and Afghanis who were helped by Mr. Hegseth. I ask unanimous consent to introduce these letters and op-eds. Without objection, is so ordered. Senator Sheehy, you've been very patient.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Entering a support letter in for Mr. Hegseth, submitted by nearly 90 former soldiers who served with Pete in combat. I would like to submit a statement from 86 of them who support his nomination, although they come from different units and ranks. The signatories commend Mr. Hegseth for his selfless leadership, love of his soldiers, and commitment to our country.
Two items.
Sorry, one item. I ask unanimous consent to enter this.
Without objection, it will be entered.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pete, I'm actually going to ask you questions because I want to hear your answer. How many genders are there? Tough one.
Senator, there are two genders.
I know that well. I'm a Sheehy, so I'm on board. What is the diameter of the rifle round fired out of an M4A1 rifle?
That's a 5.56.
How many push-ups can you do?
I did 5 sets of 47 this morning.
What do you think are most important strategic bases in the Pacific?
In the Pacific, Guam is pretty strategically significant.
How many rounds of 5.56 can you fit into the magazine of an M4 rifle?
Depends on the magazine, but standard issue is 30, Senator.
And what size round does the M9 Beretta standard issue sidearm for the military fire?
A 9mm, Senator.
What kind of batteries do you put in your night vision goggle?
Duracell.
So right there, you're representing qualifications that show you understand what the warfighter deals with every single day on the battlefield. You understand what happens on the front line where our troops will be. And what happens, unfortunately, in this country is decisions made in rooms like this, bad decisions, end up in dead 17, 18, 19-year-old Americans. And those Americans rarely come from families that sit in rooms like this. They come from lower, middle-income families who sometimes the militaries are on the way out. And they join because maybe they want to go to college. Maybe they have no other choice. Maybe they love this country. But for whatever reason, they joined and they sat on the dotted line. And when people like us screw up, they don't come home. And that's the one thing that I care about. As you remember when I shut the door, when you came with your entourage, Senator Coleman, I've known for a long time, and you and I sat together, asked you one question. You remember what that question was?
Are you going to have the backs of the warfighters?
Exactly. What is going to be your number one priority? And I don't care, frankly, what all these letters and articles say. I've been a part of a smear campaign too, I get it. I care that you're going to have one thing in mind when you sit in that chair in that 5-sided building, and you told me what that was. So with that, you have my support. I'm sorry you have to go through a process like this, but it is one of the most important jobs in the world. We got to make sure you're ready for it. I thank you for your answers. I got one final question that's very important to me. This is more of a technical question, but I think it's to fix the Army in this country is a 1 or 2 year problem. We can make bullets, we can make rifles. Fix the Air Force might be a 5-year problem. To fix our Navy is a decades-long pursuit. How are you going to fix our national? You don't have all the power. We're not China. Unfortunately, you can't snap your fingers. But how are you going to lead an initiative within the DoD to reinvigorate our national shipbuilding industry so we are able to compete with China? Because freedom of navigation is critical to our economy and the global economy. It's going to be a very important task for you to complete.
It's a critical question, Senator, and that's why I'm grateful that President Trump has said definitively to me and publicly that shipbuilding will be one of his absolute top priorities of this administration. So a lot of it does go into pulling things up into the OSD's office, Secretary of Defense's office, to shine a spotlight on it, to make sure the bureaucracy doesn't strangle important initiatives that need to happen. We need to reinvigorate our defense industrial base in this country to include our shipbuilding capacity. Some of it is on the east, some of it's on the west, some of it's on the Great Lakes. The workforce problems that our shipyards are facing are significant, and there's been a big investment from this committee, I know, in a lot of those places because of the shortfalls, manpower issues, everything else. But we also see adversaries that have been able to innovate themselves in ways that their shipbuilding capacity is, I won't reveal it at this hearing, multitudes and multitudes beyond our capabilities. So it needs to be a rapid investment, a rapid fielding, and then we need to incentivize outside entities to fill the gap. We talk a lot about UAVs. UAVs are very important, but there's also a future of UUVs, unmanned underwater vehicles, that will be a part of amplifying the impact of our Navy, because this administration has allowed our number of ships to drop below 300. It sets a projection of 340 or 350, but doesn't create the capacity to actually address it. And so if we're going to defend our interests, our allies, and put America first, we're going to have to be able to project power. That it means shipbuilding. It means historic investments in our defense industrial base there. And then also driving innovation and cost savings in ways that only business leaders inside the Pentagon can do.
When I'd add, I don't think any board in the world would have hired Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg when they founded their companies either. So this country was founded by young people who had a great vision. Thank you for being willing to serve your country again. And thanks for coming here today. I yield back, Chairman.
Thank you,
Pete Hegseth, President Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense, sat before senators as letters of support poured into the official record. Former colleagues from Vets for Freedom, Concerned Veterans for America, Fox News, combat veterans, Iraqi and Afghan civilians, and nearly 90 soldiers who served alongside him all voiced their backing. These were not abstract endorsements. One senator, after formally entering a statement signed by 86 former soldiers, made it clear this was not about political optics. He said he wanted to hear Hegseth's answers directly, not filtered through letters or headlines. Then came a series of blunt, almost jarring questions. How many genders are there? 2, Hegseth replied. What caliber does an M4 rifle fire? 5.56. How many push-ups can you do? 5 sets of 47 that morning. What is the most strategically important U.S. base in the Pacific? Guam. How many rounds fit in a standard M4 magazine? 30. What caliber is the M9 Beretta? 9mm. What batteries power night vision goggles? Duracell, he joked, drawing laughter from the room. On the surface, these questions sounded almost trivial, but they were not asked for entertainment. They were asked to make a point. The senator explained that these answers demonstrate something increasingly rare among senior decision-makers, first-hand understanding of what warfighters experience every day, the weight of a rifle, the limits of the human body, the realities of combat. He warned that too often, decisions made in rooms like that hearing room lead to deadly consequences for young Americans who never had a seat at the table. He reminded the room that the burden of war is disproportionately carried by teenagers and young adults from working and middle-income families, many of whom join the military as their only path forward. When policymakers get it wrong, he said, those young Americans do not come home. If you value coverage that explains what is really happening behind the headlines, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now so you never miss these moments. Then, the exchange turned deeply personal. The senator recalled a private conversation with Hegseth, behind closed doors, away from cameras and entourages. He said he asked Hegseth one question, a question that mattered more than any letter or article. Are you going to have the backs of the warfighters? Hegseth's answer, the senator said, is why he offered his full support. Not because of political alignment, not because of media narratives, but because of a commitment to the people who serve. That moment reframed the hearing. This was no longer just about qualifications on paper. It was about trust. But the most consequential part of the exchange came at the end, when the senator raised an issue that will shape American power for decades, not years: shipbuilding. Hegseth's response revealed the strategic stakes. He pointed to President Trump's explicit commitment to making shipbuilding a top priority of the administration. He emphasized the role of the Secretary of Defense in elevating the issue, forcing attention at the highest levels, and preventing bureaucratic inertia from strangling urgent initiatives. He spoke about the defense industrial base, not as an abstract concept, but as a fragile ecosystem. Shipyards on the East Coast, West Coast, and Great Lakes are struggling with workforce shortages, aging infrastructure, and production delays. Congress has invested heavily, but money alone cannot solve manpower gaps or revive skilled labor pipelines overnight. What Hegseth outlined was not a quick fix, but a long-term campaign, aligning the Pentagon, industry, Congress, and labor, rebuilding capacity piece by piece, treating shipbuilding as a national security imperative, not just a procurement line item. This is the part of the hearing many viewers may have missed. The future of U.S. naval power will not be decided in a single budget cycle. It will be decided by whether leaders understand that industrial strength is military strength. If you want clear explanations of how these decisions affect America's future, subscribe now and stay informed. In the end, this hearing revealed something rare in Washington, a moment where politics stepped aside and the human cost of national defense took center stage, where questions about bullets and batteries led to a deeper conversation about responsibility, accountability, and the lives placed in the hands of policymakers. For continuing coverage that goes beyond sound bites and helps you understand what these moments really mean, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.